Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Ruby Lindquist, welcome back to the Steep Stuff podcast. How's it going?
Yeah, thank you. It's awesome. It's great to be here.
Excited to have you back. It's since we last talked. I mean, we talked like in the spring, late winter, spring.
Yeah,
like things have changed for you big time. Like you've had, you've won. Like you've had a great finish at Broken Arrow. You got selected for the World Trail Team, which is nuts for Team USA. You won Cirque Series Alaska. Like you've had quite an amazing season so far. How's it feeling? Like how are you feeling at this point in your season?
It feels really good. I'm really happy for how the races have gone and how my body has felt. And I wouldn't say I expected it to feel as good as it has so far. So that's always a really nice surprise when things are going your way. And I've been really lucky, and yeah, it's been a great year. I'm really excited too for Worlds coming up here soon. That's going to be a great showing of people and just a great team we have going. So yeah, it's been an awesome year.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, we'll get into each and every little piece. We'll talk about some of the races as well. Like we'll probably get into Broken Arrow and stuff like that. But first and foremost, like I know you said it feels good, like you're feeling good as an athlete. How has it affected like confidence wise? Like are you on the moon right now? Like just knowing like confident wise, like that you're going to compete for Team USA in the short trail, like in the marathon distance? Like I would be like, holy shit, like this is amazing. Like what is that feeling like?
It did give me maybe not a lot of confidence. It didn't give me the confidence, but it gave me a confidence boost. I think the past year or so, I've been training really, really hard and working really, really hard. And I knew that I kind of just knew at the back of my mind that I could do something like this as long as things kind of went my way. You know, you have sicknesses that you have to deal with sometimes, or little things that get thrown your way that you don't expect. But I think that the Team USA has just been, I don't know, it's pretty amazing and it's surreal, and I'm really lucky. And it's also that culmination of, what I'm doing is working, and I'm really happy for that. And I'm seeing results now. And yeah, it has given me, a bit of a confidence boost for sure. It says like, what I'm doing is working for me, and hopefully that continues to happen in the next few years. So
big time.
Yeah.
What is it like? I think it's something of a testament to just like how amazing the Alaskan mountain running community is. Like not just yourself, but Trayson and Claire also are going to be on the team as well. Like
David Norris,
like quite a few Alaskans are on this.
So rad.
Team. Isn't that crazy? Like, do you think
amazing.
Do you think there's something to that, like in the sense where like Alaska has just really come on the scene in the last few years where the athletes are just so much better than they have ever been? Or do you think it's Alaskans more just taking stabs at these races in the lower 48 to compete against others? Like, what do you think that is?
I think it's in part, a lot of these races it's the type of terrain that we run on growing up, and we're really pretty good at it, clearly. You have Trayson and Claire, and they grew up running these trails, and David as well. It's really cool. And I think it's especially exciting because the World's course is no joke. It's very steep, and I think it's going to really play to our strengths a lot, those of us coming from Alaska. So that's really exciting that we have that group going. And yeah, I think that was one of the reasons I really wanted to go. I said, I have to make this team because this course is my kind of course. This is the course for me, and I wanted to do it so bad. So the fact that I get to go there and really run this course hard is really exciting for me, and I'm sure exciting for them as well.
That's so cool. Like I said, special time for the Alaskans, and I think it's just the beginning. Like we're gonna see so many more. Like I just had Michael Earnhardt on the podcast and as well, like, and so many up and comers that people have maybe not even heard of that are just like so much talent coming out of that state, which is pretty cool. So, So your coach, Rick Floyd, not just yourself, but he's got Jane and a few others that are going to be racing different distances in Worlds. I know Jane will be on the team with you. Helen's going to be on Helen's going to be on the team with you as well, right? Yeah.
Yep. She's short trail.
That's kind of crazy that like he has so many athletes, kind of racing the distances. So have you guys adjusted your training at all for this particular type of race? Like, has anything changed in your training? Like, how has that kind of evolved and since Broken Arrow, if you will?
We've been trying to focus a lot more on getting as much vert as possible. The course is pretty crazy. It has almost 12,000 feet of vert as far as I can remember. So just trying to incorporate a lot of that and also incorporating downhill running too, because there's going to be a lot of downhill that comes with that, and then technical running as well. So just trying to have really long days out, not necessarily fast per se, but just long days on feet. Just being out there for a while and trying to get as much vert as possible, I think is going to be really helpful for this course. But other than that, not a lot has changed. I think it's been a really nice, for my training at least, a really nice, steady year for me, and that I'm not really adding or taking away anything significant. It's just been very steady. So it feels like it's going really well, and it'll add up really nicely for the race.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Before you and I, like last time we had spoken, it was just before you had gone out to Japan for the Mount Fuji 70K race.
Right.
Obviously, you had a great result there. What was that experience like?
Fuji was incredible. As soon as it was over, I was just thinking I want to go back. I think Anna had finished just a couple minutes ahead of me, and I'd really, really wanted to win that race. I was so close. But I mean, the fact that I got second to her I was happy with that. And we ate udon and ramen like every single day leading up to that race, which was killer. It was an amazing experience. Mount Fuji was beautiful. We got kind of the last few days of the cherry blossoms, really. But yeah, my immediate reaction after that race was I just want to come back. I think I'm going to want to come back, maybe not next year, but soon, and try to do it again and nail it again. And I think that the Japanese people, there were so many of them doing the 100-mile race, and they just do this because they have this work ethic and this grind that they just want to do something hard and finish it. They have this thing about them. They just have to, to work really hard. And that was really inspiring to see. I'm out here racing for a professional team, and they're out here grinding for 2 days trying to finish this race. It was a really inspiring thing to see.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Everyone should go do that race.
I've heard just like so many amazing things about Japan in general, like just like not just the food scene, but just the culture in general, the things to see. But particularly I've heard the food is off the chain, like just insane. I heard even the 7-Eleven is dope there. Like,
yeah, we were at 7-Eleven 2 times a day, every day.
It's so cool.
It's no joke.
Yeah. No, I heard like, there's all kinds of good stuff. Yeah. So after that, you got first at it might have been before. You went to Big Alta, had a great race at Big Alta as well.
Yeah, that was the opener. I think that was in
March, April.
March. It must have been March.
Yeah. Which was another like super competitive race. Like it seems like that everybody turns out for that as far as early season goes. So you've kind of, like I said, just kind of assimilated and been on a tear since then. I do want to dive into Broken Arrow though. Your 6th place finish there. Just off of, you were just a few places shy of making the team as an auto qualifier for there. Let's get into that race and talk about it, just because, you live in Truckee, you train in Truckee. Obviously that must have been a very special opportunity for you, and probably the most competitive 50K ever assembled on American soil.
Yeah. The day before Broken Arrow, when I went to pick up my bib, I was, I try not to dig too deep into pre-race rosters sometimes, because I think that it tends to make me a little just overly nervous. I think when you can see names that, you're like, wow, these people have done some incredible things, and this race is going to hurt really, really hard. And I went to pick up my bib the day before, and I was there for maybe 10 minutes, and I said, I got to get out of here. I got to go home and go chill again, because just the environment was ecstatic. Everyone is just, everyone's different pre-race, but I was very much just trying to be calm and collected. And because I knew that, you know, whether I have a not so great day or whether I have a good day, this race I'm going to have to grind as hard as I possibly can because this is the US selection race and my goal is to make that team, right? So whether you go into that race feeling your best or not your best, you kind of just have to grind it. Um, so that was my mentality about it. And, I just tried to be as prepared as possible and say, even if I don't have my best day, I know that I can still have an okay day. It's like when you're not feeling great and you have a long run, you still can go out and get it done, right? Even if you're not feeling at the top at your best. So that was my mentality. And unfortunately, I did not feel great during that race at all. Even from the very start, I just kind of felt laggy and tired, and I didn't feel like I had much of a kind of a pop to my step at all. So for almost 5 hours, it was a grind. It was a grind for me. But I just tried to stay in it, and I tend to do pretty good at the downhills, so I was taking advantage of that when I could, especially the downhill coming back down into the village is a beautiful downhill, and it's really long, so you can kind of cover a lot of time there. So yeah, it was an unbelievable experience. I think, like I said, just knowing how many girls were there that have, top 3 podiums at UTMB, just
Everybody.
huge name. It was amazing to race with those girls and for all of us to be so competitive the whole time, it was a really cool thing to be a part of that day.
I got to ask you this. So one of the things that I struggle with in the sport, like particularly in my own racing, is if I'm falling short of my goal and I know that, it's very hard for me mentally to stay with it.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that in the race? Like if you obviously your goal going into this race is either get selected or probably win or get on the podium, I would have imagine. If you're just outside of that or not feeling that great in a race, how are you able to like gather yourself mentally and stay within it and not give up?
It's hard because you do want to give up. But I think for me, I train through a lot of this. Yeah, I train a lot feeling not great. And I know that I can get through that training. And also on race day, you're there and this is a test of what you can do. And when you start to feel really bad, you just kind of have to pass through it. I don't know any better way to like you feel this awful feeling and you just have to pass right through it. And somehow when you get through it or when you're really feeling you just I don't know, it's hard to explain, but you just have to accept that it's gonna be super painful. It's like unless you just accept that pain is happening, you're gonna have a really, really awful time. For me anyways. And so that's how I viewed Broken Arrow. It's like, okay, I feel not great. Things aren't particularly going my way, but I'm just gonna, walk straight through this door and just accept that this is happening and this is the way it's gonna be and try to just grind through because that is your opportunity to make, compete on a world stage. And I wanted that in the end more than I cared about hurting that day. So yeah, it's a tough thing. I think over time you just kind of get more and more used to it. But yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, I always love following like the mental process and saying like, okay, like how some folks do give up. Like it's very common, especially on the elite end. Like if the race isn't going someone's way, it's like, well, I'm just going to save this for another day. But it's amazing to see someone grind through and, still come to a top 10 finish. And, like I said, such a competitive race.
Yeah, that race was like that, not terrifying. I was going to say it was terrifying, but it was exciting because any of the top 20 girls, right, could have been in that top 10, top 5, even on a good day. And that is that. I don't know if I've ever raced a race in the US that was that deep, where you have girls, that don't really have big names and you haven't really heard of them, but they are up in the top 10. And that's just really inspiring to see how far we've come in trail.
You've only been in the sport for a few years, but like you must have seen it. It's crazy how competitive it's gotten, like just in the last few years. It's kind of gotten just crazy. And it's only getting crazier as more like track and field athletes and athletes from like various sports kind of enter and kind of try their hand on it. Let me ask you this, the race itself, how did it play out for you? Were you in no man's land for a good chunk of it? Were you battling with other ladies? Were you in a higher position after the first lap and then dropped down or dropped up? Like how did the race kind of unfold for you?
I knew we were going to go out pretty hard and I wanted to be in the top 5, top 10. And I started, I think, in the top 5. And when it was almost to the ladder, I was just feeling horrible. And I started to get passed at that point. I think Jane was the first one who passed me at the top of the ladder. I said, damn, Jane is looking strong. She looks really good right now. Try to keep up with her. Let's like work together. And then I just started getting passed. And that is so hard mentally when you're already feeling bad and you want this result and girls are passing you. And it took me, I just maybe a little bit in my mind was kind of giving up. Like at this point, I think at one point I was in 8th or 9th place and just going through it. And then I actually saw my coach, Rick, headed back up towards KT, and he said, use this downhill. You can use this downhill. And that's what I did. And on the downhill, the last downhill to the village, I think I caught up to at least a couple girls. And I ripped it really hard. It hurt, but it's what I needed. My goal was top 5, of course, and 6 isn't far from that. So I was pretty satisfied with how that turned out. Yeah.
When you finished, was it more just elation of what you just did? Were you disappointed because you were right there? Like what was the mix of emotions? Because I feel like it's one of those ones where, yeah, you might have not gotten the exact goal, but I would still been so damn proud,
Yeah. I was proud of myself, especially given the day that I got handed. I mean, I wasn't at my best, I felt. I just wasn't, for whatever reason, just wasn't feeling great. But it was also nerve-wracking because I knew, 6th place, I have a chance at Team USA. And that was, I was really excited, but I was also, kind of pulled 2 directions. It's like 50-50 at this point. Am I going to make it? Am I not? And I wanted to make Team USA so bad that was the hardest part for me, was waiting to just hear, because I wanted it so bad and I knew I was so close. So, but yeah, I was satisfied with 6th. I think that was good for that day. And of course you always want more, but there's time for that. And there are always more races and more Broken Arrow. It'll always be there.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember the application you applied, but I just can't remember this. Did you apply before and then Broken Arrow happened and then you found out after, or did you have Broken Arrow, then apply and then find out?
So I think the application period ended either right before or after Broken Arrow. So I had already put in my
That's what I thought. Okay.
resume and whatnot, but then I updated it after Broken Arrow to reflect the Broken Arrow result. But yes, I think that it went shortly after Broken Arrow, it closed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think between you and Jane, from what the understanding was, and Noah as well, the Broken Arrow was definitely probably heavily weighed into it, is what it seemed like. That was definitely which is great. I'm glad they did that because, any person that was like on the bubble or just so close, like it was just, that was the selection race. That was the one to do it. So it makes more sense. How did it feel when you got selected? Like, were you on cloud 9? Were you like, oh man, now I got to really train? Like, what was those emotions like?
I was stoked. I got a call. I was hanging out and I got a call and I said, oh my gosh, I think this might be the call, whether they tell me or I made it or not. And they told me that I'd been selected, and it was just very satisfying. And also what an amazing opportunity, and to go out and train and continue what I'm doing and just race really hard on a world stage is what I've wanted to do I've wanted to do this for years. And I think 2 years ago, I was a fifth place at the Breakneck Trail Marathon. So a couple spots out. And, I've always been kind of just like a couple spots out, couple spots out. So it was just a very satisfying moment. And knowing that I'd kind of reached that goal that I had. And now, okay, let's take it and let's run with it and prepare as best we can. So
very cool.
It's been really exciting.
How do you adjust that? Like, how do you put your expectations forth for a race like this? Like, what are your expectations? Is it to medal with the other team? Is it to do as well as the other ladies? Like, how do you, because it's a team-based event, kind of like, obviously the goal is to win, but like, how do you adjust? Like, what are your expectations for it?
I think this race just really forces me to be super dialed in what my preparation is and how my training will be leading up to this point. And I've been working with a nutritionist, actually, a Fuel Lab here in Truckee, which has helped me really dial my race nutrition pre-race, during race. And that has helped me a lot. And there's so much that I was missing there. And then working with a strength trainer. And I just think that all these little things that I've been kind of adding into my training are what are going to help me perform my best at Worlds. And so I've been trying to focus on little details that I haven't really been focusing on before, because I see almost immediate results from those. And yeah, just working with my coach to dial things and see how I'm feeling on a day-to-day basis is important too. But yeah, it's been an exciting build, and I've had some pretty long weeks, really some of the longest training weeks that I've ever had. And it's really satisfying. And, it's almost time to taper it back. And that's also exciting because I'm been pretty tired. But yeah, I'm really, really excited. It's not that far away now.
Just a couple weeks out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the nutritionist aspect. This is something I've been exploring personally for myself. And like, it's amazing, like when you get right, I just did a sweat test, starting to like figure out the nutrition aspect of it as well. Yeah. And it's like amazing when you nail the right milligrams of sodium before a race you're supposed to have, and just like little things like that. How has it helped you? Just like what have you needed the most help with, and like what has changed the most for you?
Yeah. I think I've had some nutrition challenges in the past during longer races, just cramping and some major stomach issues. And I also took a sweat test, and, come to find I'm a very low salty sweater. And last year during the quad dipsy, I was taking like 1,000 milligrams of salt an hour. And
oh my God.
Just these little things like that, you hear people talk about, really high carb, a lot of salt, do this, do this, do this. But what I've come to realize is everybody is so different. Everyone's body processes things differently. And, what works for one person certainly probably isn't going to work the same for you. The chances of that are not high. So just getting a professional to step in and help me really dial what works for me has been a huge help. And I've been practicing it during long runs and stuff. That's important. But just knowing that I'm going to go in with a nutrition plan that is catered to me and what I need and what my body needs is really, I think it's going to be important, not only for this race, but for all the races that I have in the future. Once you go over 3 or 4 hours, gets pretty important to dial that stuff in. So testing what works and what doesn't, that can take a long time, a lot of trial and error when, she's a professional and she can just look at this spreadsheet and look at this data and say, this is why this isn't working. This is what's going to work better. And you have that. It's just a much more efficient way to go prepared into these races, instead of like the past few years, like, oh, maybe I'll eat this salt tablet chew. Oh, I'm choking on it. Oops. That was kind of I ran the route a couple years ago, and I was eating just like salt tablets. It's crazy how much you can learn in a short period of time when it's trial and error. But yeah, it's just really helpful to dial those things in, especially for big races like this. Yeah.
That's amazing. Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see like for myself what it does, but like yeah, it's just in a short period of time I'm like, "Oh, that's the amount of milligrams that really works sodium wise." I'm like,
Right.
it's just like yeah, stupid little things. It's like once you tighten that up, it really does make a huge difference.
Yeah. Good for you.
Uh you were in Alaska for a little bit, ran Cirque Series Alaska, absolutely destroyed that course. Like had a
Yeah.
wonderful day out. Did you spend a good amount of time training out there for Worlds at all, or did you do most of your block in the Truckee area?
I've done most of my block here in Truckee. I went to Alaska for 10 days or so. And yeah, I haven't done a race in Alaska for a few years, and seeing that community again and my friends and people that I haven't seen in a long time was really, really special. And also winning that race was really special for me. That's arguably one of my more favorite races in Alaska. And I've wanted to win it for a while. And so to go and win it and to feel as good as I did, it was really happy about that. But yeah, most of my training has been here in Truckee. Um, we have, I'd say Alaska, you just get way more vert very quickly. So that's been kind of the struggle here
Yeah.
is you have to drive to get a lot of vert and be out there for a while. But in Alaska, it's 4,000 feet in like 3 miles. You can just crush the vert all day, every day, crush it. So yeah, it was great to be home.
That's crazy. Uh, yeah. So on the topic of Truckee, I don't want to go too far back into Broken Arrow, but I did forget a question that I meant to ask you. Leading into Broken Arrow, did you play on the course at all? Like, did you like learn every inch of that loop?
I was on it a couple times. I kind of wish I'd been on it more, but I ran it through, I think ran it fully through once. So not as maybe if I run it again, I'll be out there a little bit more, but I run out there quite often anyways. It's like one of my favorite places to run. So I knew it pretty well
It's
going in.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself gravitating more to like the ski resorts out there, like when it comes to running, or are you more just like on the single track playing? Because I feel like it's just like Candyland. There's just so much to do out there.
Yeah. There really is a little bit of everything because you can go towards South Lake and get into Desolation Wilderness, and that's, you can have there's it's called the Seven Summits, but there's this route, and it's very, very technical, very, almost rock climbing, super slow moving, you have stuff like that. And then you have, like you said, the single track, really fast, and then Broken Arrow, which is a combination of everything. And yeah, I think it's nice to throw in a bit of all of it together. Yeah. Yeah. Keep
So,
things interesting.
so I'm pretty close with the people on the classic team. I don't know too many. Like I know, like some of you guys on the marathon team, like short trail, I should say. Mountain Classic team, it was kind of cool. Was able to get to, well, I should say Mountain Classic team plus Noah. Was able
Yeah.
to get together to do like a little camp, like a mini camp in Colorado a few months, maybe about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks. How's the marathon team? Have you guys tried to coordinate anything? Because I know Helen doesn't live too far from you. Have you guys been able to like coordinate to train at all? I know some of the teams have been doing that, or has it been just kind of like on your own?
It feels like most of us have kind of been on our own. Um, I think that quite a few of us are going early to Spain, and the plan is to, meet up and rent a car, and we'll go train together for the week that we have before the race. And so that'll be kind of our first time all together and training and, you know, dialing these things together, which is going to be really exciting. But yeah, I really haven't connected with many of them since Broken Arrow, so it'll be cool to see everybody again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. Are you, as far as like nerves going into this race? I always get nervous on start lines. Is this like, are you nervous for this one? Like, will you be like, did you have nerves on Broken Arrow? I know this is kind of a weird question, but like, I'm just always so curious because some people are cool as cucumbers. I'm like, how are you that relaxed? Like, I can't be that way.
I think that yes, definitely. I think nerves are a sign that you care. And but I try, when I start to get really nervous, I try to turn it and think, this is really exciting and this is a great opportunity. So whenever I feel those nerves, I try to think to myself to not get overly nervous and treat this as, this is an exciting opportunity. Because if I just think, oh, I'm so nervous, it's a downhill slope for me. And coming from track and field and cross country, you deal with that like every week, these crazy nerves. And I think the more that you deal with them, you just kind of find your own way to deal with them and
Yeah.
to try to make them positive in whatever way you can. So yes, for sure I am nervous. But a
That's
good
good. I
nervous.
think it's a healthy thing. Everybody would.
Yeah.
Um, I read this really good article. It was like a local article about you. I think it was like one of the local Alaska magazines or newspapers had written about you. And you stated like one of your goals was to do the big loop, a UTMB.
Yeah.
Is that like your big overarching goal for the sport? Like one day?
Maybe not my biggest goal, but I for sure want to do that loop. I backpacked it last year and it's an amazing loop. And I think getting to a point where I can feel fit and compete and race UTMB, I would love to be able to do that one day and to do it to the best of my ability. Ideally, in the top there is it's a huge goal one day. I also get really it's exciting for me because I look at the rosters sometimes and I look at the ages of these ladies and they're, in their mid 30s, early 30s. I just think, I have so much time to do these things. And that's really exciting it's just very inspiring to see, these women in their mid 30s crushing everybody. Yeah, it's cool to see that longevity in the sport.
It's amazing. How has like obviously I just kind of brought that goal up. Obviously, Worlds is a goal or was a goal, and now you'll get to go do that. How are you going to adjust your goals moving forward? Like, what is next for you after this? Like, is it going to be like, all right, I just did that? Like, what do you think is going to be part of 2026?
I haven't really thought about that yet. I'm probably going to race I'm planning to race a UTMB race in November. There's one near Santa Barbara, the Pacific Trails, that I'll probably jump into to try to qualify for OCC next year. So I'd love to jump into OCC or CCC, whatever I can there next year. But yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I don't really know. I haven't thought about it. I think, I'll take it one step at a time and get, have a good race at Worlds ideally. And then after this season, kind of sit back and reevaluate. But that's something I haven't really thought about yet. I do think that, qualifying and making this Worlds team is a step in a good direction. And I think, for a lot of people, this is a dream. And for me, it is too, but also, okay, I've reached this goal that I have, and that's just kind of building this momentum towards other things that I want to do. And so I'm really satisfied to have made it, but also, this is a good way to propel myself into, I know I can do this. Okay, what's the next big thing? What's the next big thing? I don't think I'll ever hit a point in my career where I'll say, I'm satisfied and I'm done. I don't think that's it's not the way that I work. So yeah.
What's your why? Like, why do you do this?
I really enjoy being outside. I like being out for a really long time, out 6 hour days where you're like scrambling around on ridges, and also just being joyful about that. That's why I do this. And I think that the competition too, I'm a very competitive person, and I love it. I love the competition, and I really love the process of working really, really hard every day. Gives you a good routine. And I think all those things together are kind of why. And also, there are girls sometimes in my DMs, young girls who are like, I see what you're doing and this is awesome. And one day I want to be like you. Or one of my coworkers' daughters sent me a message on my birthday that was like, I want to be like you. And I wish I was like you. And I'm really glad that I know you, and stuff like that. When people start saying those things to you, you're doing something right. Like you're inspiring kind of the next generation coming up, and you're setting the standard and the bar for what's possible now. And they're just going to come up and they're going to push it out of the park. But I think being a part of this new era of, trail running is growing so fast, and it's cool to be more at the start of it. And yeah, to be inspiring to a young kid growing up who looks at you and says, I want to do that. That's pretty special. So that's a lot of the why. Yeah.
That's amazing. Wow. Do you feel like a sense now that like once you get those messages, do you feel like a sense of responsibility to just be as professional as possible and as good of a role model as possible for some of these young folks that look up to you.
Yes, but also try to show that this isn't, this is fun. This is a really fun thing that we do. It doesn't have to be all competition all the time. The reason why we do this is to be outside. And, I try to remind them, this is fun. Be active, go out and bike or go out and run and enjoy yourself out there. I think that's the biggest thing that I want to share is, keep it fun. Don't make it too aggressive to where you're, I don't know, not having fun anymore.
Yeah. No, I think it's really the reason I ask is because I talk to a lot of folks that are in either a similar position to you or in the same exact position. And I always ask the F word, like, are you having fun? Do you enjoy this still? Because I think it's really easy for athletes to get so caught up in, I don't know, like you have your training regimen, you know what you got to nail. You have to hit those workouts. You have to do X, Y, and Z. Like you know the formula, if you will, and it just becomes routine after a while. But if you're not having fun with it, then you're not going to have that magic on race day, and it's not going to feel as exciting as it should. Are you still being able to like strike that balance and still find the fun in your training and getting out and just enjoying what you're doing?
Yeah, I definitely have to mix it with, I have really, really hard, long days and I'm not having fun at all. And it's really painful and I'm miserable. But then I'll go and I'll bike or I'll go and I'll ski or, I'll go and I'll just have, go do this run and be out there however long you want to be out there or go run for an hour. Doesn't matter where, just maybe half the time I'm walking during that run. Who knows? But being able to incorporate this kind of balance of I'm going to do today what I want to do, not what I have to do. I think that that's really helped me. And also my coaches really, really helped me kind of figure out the right training for that. It's like, you can't just go out and wander around all the time. I think it's important for me to have really hard workouts. And those are fun too. Sometimes, you do a really hard workout and you're like, oh wow, that was great. And it's addicting in that way. I think I'm really just addicted to the process of all of it. I really love to work really hard, but I also really love to go dink around in the mountains for 8-10 hours and have no plan. So I think being able to do both is important. For my longevity anyways, I've noticed it's important to do both. Yeah.
Do you find, like, I like to hide in the process? Like, I really find that, like, when I say hide, I mean, like, it's really easy to get caught up in a training block and just, focus on the nuts and bolts of it. And just, I don't know, when you're just doing X, Y, and Z and really caught up in it and excited about it, it's easy to not think about the race, if you will. Do you like more of the training block or do you like more of the race day?
I don't know. I really like both. The racing is just this. I hear people say this all the time, but it's so true. It is really this celebration of like the culmination of all that hard work that you've put in. And that is something really special where you can get to race day and, if you have a really good race and it goes really well and you're super stoked, it's just a reflection on everything you've done up to that point. So I think that I think that they go hand in hand. Yeah, racing is really fun, but yeah, I don't know. I can't pick a side. They're both great. Yeah. I love the training and I also love the racing. Yeah.
You're young enough to where there's a possibility that if we ever become an Olympic sport, like you'll still be around, like in the sense of a professional athlete. Like, do you want it to become an Olympic sport? Like, what do you want to happen? What do you want to see as an athlete in the sport? Like, where do you want to see this in 10 or 15 years?
I think it could be really cool. I do think that we'll probably eventually have something in the Olympics, whether it be more Golden Trail style races that are a bit shorter, faster, but I don't know. I think a lot of people really like to go out and run their local trail races with their community. Maybe it's 10 people, maybe it's 10,000. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I think that that's something that I hope that we never lose sight of is this community aspect of trail running and what it does for the community. And I think it'd be awesome to bring the sport to the Olympics, but I just hope that we wouldn't lose, and I don't think we would lose it, but lose this community vibe and what everybody likes. Like the Cirque series is a great example of it. You know, you have everybody out there and everyone's having so much fun, and that is what this sport is all about, is that community aspect of it. So yeah.
So it's interesting to me because like you come from a place in Alaska where like the mountain running community, the community aspect of it is probably the strongest out of maybe anywhere in the entire country, like rivaling
Pretty
like,
special.
a lot of places in Europe. Yeah. So you think both can? I personally, I'm an optimist, so I think both can coexist. Like I don't see a world where one has to eclipse the other. Like I think it's still very much a soul sport where you see surfing and skateboarding and even climbing. Like yes, there's the Olympic discipline, but the rest of the sport still moves on and does its thing. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it.
Interesting. Very cool. Well, honestly, I think this was a good one. This is a good place to keep it all. I think this is a good place to stop it, and we'll catch up after Worlds.
Yeah.
Ruby, I'm such a fan. I'm wishing you such like the best of luck. I can't wait to see what you do on race day, and I hope you have an amazing time. And it's just a great experience for you. So wishing you the best.
Thank you so much. I look forward to chatting in the future sometime.
Absolutely. Thank you.